On this episode, I'm going to be showing you how I prepare a basement for trim install. Everything from preparing the space for our work to pre-cutting and hauling all the materials down into the basement. So let's go. Most of my job today is going to be moving all of this material down into the lower level. I like to do this as efficiently as possible. Down in the lower level, they already have the flooring down, so we're going to put down a bunch of blankets in order to protect the floor from all the work we're doing. Blankets are down, and now I get to go move all of that material down into the basement. On this one, we are going to be putting shiplap vertically on this wall. And to bring it downstairs, I'm going to pre-cut it to make it easier to haul. Before that, I'm going to move all the materials I can. Okay, so I've moved everything I can for now, and now I'm going to pre-cut our casing legs and our shiplap. Grabbing the measurement I need from the floor to the ceiling, it's 104.5 inches, subtracting the 7.25 base. Setting up my equipment in the garage right next to the materials, I won't have to take anything else downstairs just yet. So we use these really cool outlets called an IVAC switch, which triggers the vacuum to turn on every time you pull the trigger on the saw or piece of equipment that you have plugged into it. Fully intended on showing you that, but I was having issues with it, so we will show that another time. So I just ended up turning on the vacuum the entire time I was working. And now on to all the fun stuff, pre-cutting the materials. Along with the shiplap, I'm going to be pre-cutting the legs of our miters, which are for 8-foot doors. So I measured from the bottom of the legs and accounted for a 3/16 or 1/4 inch reveal line, and that gives me 97 5/8. This is a relatively simple setup and something that I do a lot when I don't have a full site setup, but I adjust my entire saw over to the wall, or in this case, an overhead door, to get it right to my cut line, and I just need to take my materials, set it up against the wall or overhead door, and repeat the cut. And here I'm just basically kicking the legs out slightly so the saw doesn't move while I'm making all these cuts. And now let's get to cutting. Because this is flat stock, I can stack these and make multiple cuts at one time. Also, if you notice, I have a vacuum running the entire time. MDF is really dusty, and this system allows the dust to drop right into the bucket because of the dust deputy. Repeating this method, I'm going to cut the other side of the door legs, and I'm marking at 97 5/8. Then I need to test the cut, reset the saw slightly over closer to the overhead door, and reset my cut line and make my repeat cuts. I always do a test cut, which you can see is slightly off right there, and then I make any micro adjustments in the saw stand, and we can also test fit these and change them slightly once we get them into the lower level. Now I'm moving on to pre-cutting my shiplap, which was 104.5 minus the 7 1/4. I will actually cut this a little long to account for any variance in the ceiling and the floor. So here again, I'm just resetting the saw to my mark and getting set up to cut all of the shiplap. I have around 53 cuts to make on this, so I want to make sure that it's perfect. And I check the fit, turn the vacuum on, and get back to work. But not before checking the measurement one last time. To save time, I was double stacking these. MDF is pretty heavy, so I didn't want to have too much weight on the saw, causing miscuts. About midway through, I decided to take half the materials down, just so I didn't have too much material stacking up in the way. And as usual, checking the measurements just to be sure. And back to cutting and getting ready to haul the rest of the materials down. Some of the materials, like the baseboard, I could not pre-cut, so I hauled everything else through the window well. Doing this, you always need to be careful not to damage the window or the ledge inside. And and then finally hauling the remaining materials into the basement from the inside. So now I have most of my materials pre-cut for my doors in the Shiplap, and materials are in place. And now we need to get the equipment down here and get to work. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay tuned to the next episodes where we share the entire process of this install, along with our other how-tos and tutorials coming up of detail walls and a lot of other things. So share with your friends, subscribe, like these videos wherever they are, and have a good one.